A California man is back home with his family, and he is thankful to be alive after being rescued from the Big Basin Redwood State Park. 34-year-old Lucas McClish was lost and stranded for 10 days. He set out on what he thought would just be a 3-hour hike in the Santa Cruz Mountains back on June 11th, and he got lost in part because landmarks had been destroyed by recent wildfires.
And when he missed Father's Day dinner, his family reported him missing. Rescuers using a drone eventually were able to track him down. Now, McClish says that he survived the ordeal by drinking lots of water from creeks and waterfalls. Listen to this.
So I kind of just hike each day. I go up a canyon, down a canyon to the next waterfall, and just sit down by the waterfall and drink water out of my boot. I felt comfortable the whole time I was out there. I wasn't worried about it. I had a mountain lion that was following me, but it was cool. He kept his distance. I think it was just somebody watching over me.
A cool mountain lion. Yeah. We're joined now by survivalist Zachary Fowler, who also has an outdoorsman YouTube show that focuses on surviving in the wilderness. Thanks so much for being with us. 10 days stranded in the mountains. That's a pretty precarious position, no?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, 10 days, yeah, that's not exactly a fun little hike in the woods, is it?
No, I mean, at that point in time, what are you incredible? It sounds like he was very hydrated and he focused on that. But even so, I wonder what the risks are with that, if the water's not filtered, and at what point you're really starting to have struggles because you don't have sustenance.
10 days isn't so bad. When I did 87 days in Patagonia, the first 10 days was with like 4 fish for food. And your body kind of goes through this cleanse where you drink a lot of liquids and it just like your system flushes and you lose a ton of weight early on. And so he says he lost like 30 pounds, which doesn't surprise me. You're going to lose a lot of water weight that your body's holding, things like that. And then you balance back out after 10 to 14 days and your body will go into high gear and start to digest itself for energy on a better rate. And you can do pretty good. You can go 30 days to 3 months easily without food, depending on your body weight amount, without mental fatigue and in that kind of circumstance.
I was not aware of that. I get hangry after a few hours and I treat Brianna poorly sometimes, and I apologize.
That is untrue. I don't think I could go that long, though, Zachary. You are quite amazing to be able to do that.
Yeah. So let's talk about
it's harder at the beginning. It's always harder at the beginning, you know?
Yeah. So he got lost in part because some local landmarks were destroyed by recent wildfires. Do you have tips for keeping track of where you are on a hike so you don't get lost in the first place if the terrain has changed in a way perhaps that you didn't expect?
I would say that, the majority of that's all going to come into the beforehand preparation. Whether you've hiked a place a whole bunch in the advance, in the past, and just knowing your situation and going into it with the right stuff. Now I have a survival belt that's in my belt that has tabs for purifying water, but that would only help me for 48 hours. So it's like you can't carry that much stuff that easily, but you can carry a ton of stuff up here. Mentally, the water isn't going to hurt you that bad. Especially when you're getting moving water that's oxygenated is going to be fairly clean. The odds of getting Giardia or something like that are very slim. But going into it mentally and knowing your situation, knowing the maps of the area, knowing what stream, if you bump into it because you're moving north, is going to take you down to the highway, things like that will prevent you from ending up in a situation like this.
What do you do, Zachary? I think there's a question of, do you stay put? Because we are in the age of drones and technology where they can look for a body heat signal. But how do you make a decision about, okay, I'm lost at this point, I'm really lost. Should I stay put or should I keep going? Also keeping in mind, he did say there was a mountain lion, so that might have been a consideration. But how do you make that decision?
That's going to come into a lot of your prep from beforehand. If you're smart and you're going hiking alone in anything besides like the backside of a golf course where like somebody's going to stumble upon you on a regular basis, then you want to let somebody know, text a friend to let you know to check in. They said that Father's Day came along and he was missing still. So sounds like they went and checked his favorite hiking spot. And that's when they finally were like searching him out. Like you should know that you're not going to have cell phone signal, that you're going to tell somebody where you're going to be and when you're going to be back if you're going to go alone. And when it's being out there and then you're being stuck, if you're hurt and you can't move, yes, try to make a signal like other people have made with rocks on the beach, palm branches saying, SOS, things like that. Otherwise, you really need to make an informed decision to move somewhere to safety yourself, because being found is, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of ground to cover. Drones work pretty good nowadays, but the odds of them finding you if you're just so happen to be tucked underneath the bad spot, hidden by trees, they just happen to sweep to the left or the right of you, it's not as good as you saving yourself and getting out of there unless you can't move and you really need to be rescued.
Yeah, all good points. And listen, tell people when you're going someplace. If you are going on your own, where you're going to be, when you should be back. It's so important. Zachary, thank you so much. Obviously, this story of Lucas McClish has captured a lot of folks' attention and imagination. We thank you for speaking with us about it.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, he sure did. He's back. Thank you.